We want to earn money for what we do, for our talents, but every so often you need to earn experience or grow your experience. And, half a day or even a day out of your life, if it adds value to your performance and your ability, and then do it for free.
Yeah.
Do it for free. Build up your portfolio, build up your experiences, build up your show reel. Meet people, network.
Yeah.
It's not always about the money.
Hello, my name is Marcus Lee, and you've tuned into So This Works, the podcast about work-life balance. On today's episode, I'm joined by Dennis Gerald, a wonderful actor, presenter, and model based in Manchester in the north of England. Today, we shoot the breeze about how Dennis moved into the creative arts, the joys of acting and presenting, our inspirations, and finding a career that suits you. I hope you enjoy our conversation today. As always, nod your head when the beat kicks in, and we'll get into the episode. Stay tuned. Dennis Gerald, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me on this episode of So This Works. I've already done an introduction of you, but I think it's always better when we hear directly from the individual. So could you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you, Marcus. I'm humbled. I feel like I'm important, which is
you are important,
which is always nice.
Yeah.
I guess the heart of me is someone that's modest, and the first question you ask kind of challenges the belief that I'm modest, because I kind of have to pick up myself. Listen, I'm somebody that likes to communicate. I love to interact with people. Not everybody, but those people that I like to interact with, it's a joy. What do I do? Why am I here? We just listened to a track of some music, and I love music. Spent a lot of time presenting a radio show, kind of like a magazine program.
Yeah.
Diversified into presenting, which was kind of a historical media thing, which led into presenting and talking to people.
Yeah. When
I didn't lose my voice. And everything just kind of merged and mingled, and opportunities and networking we touched on before. I ended up doing what's known as extrovert, which is a term that I despise because I think it belittles people's talents and ability, but did a lot of that for a long time back in the day. I'm talking in the day of League of Gentlemen and Brookside and those are now gone. So I was that person, and I've moved on since, and I'm still doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Dennis, what do you do is the question. Anything you want. I class myself, I use a phrase sometimes, which says that I've got significant ability in lots of areas, but I would never, ever, and this is the modesty part, classify myself as a specialist in any of them. If you want to classify myself as a specialist, be that an actor or a model or whatever, feel free.
Okay.
And I'll say thank you.
Fine. Well, the way that I came across you was in the medium of acting. So just to explain for people watching, people listening, how I met you, Dennis, I was making a film called Skeletons, set in West Yorkshire. I was directing the film, but I was also acting in the film as well. I know that sounds a little bit big-headed, but it was just a family story a story that I'd written. So I wanted to create a family. I wanted to create a family dynamic, and I was looking for a father, as someone to play the father. And I'd come across you on Star Now as it happened, and I got in touch. And it's great that we know each other now, but I remember having that conversation with you saying, "Hi, I'm looking for an actor." And I'd looked at your photos and I thought, he looks like quite a cool,
old guy that could be my father.
I didn't say an old guy, but I needed someone to be a certain age, basically. And then I asked you, just out of interest, how old are you? Because I'd seen some photos and it seemed like they ranged from, in some photos you could have been 30, in others you could have been 60. So I just wanted to lock down exactly how old you were. But that didn't come across, I don't think it came across too well, did it?
Well, I think my response would have been something like, why do you ask? because I didn't instantly see the relevance.
Yeah.
You'd called me and I just didn't instantly see the relevance in terms of your inquiry. So,
Yeah.
And people are curious. And I kind of knew why you were asking, because people are confused by the age of this individual. So, yeah.
Do you feel like you get ageism? Do you feel like there's ageism in the world of acting?
Oh, without a doubt. There's ageism everywhere. The age thing for me is neither here nor there, because it's worked for me. Once upon a time, I didn't have facial hair. For one reason, whether it was vanity, whether I saw somebody who looked good in a beard, so I thought, I want some of that, grew a beard. What's happened is that if I shave the beard off, I'd need a good reason, because I like the look. This is the vanity thing.
Yeah.
The grey bits kind of confuse people, because a lot of my action, a lot of the way that I walk and dress and things that I do, kind of makes me, who is he? How old is he? Most people, when they're posting a role on Star Now or whatever, they'll give you an age indication as to the kind of age they're looking for.
Yeah.
And invariably, I ignore those markers. And the reason I ignore them is simple. It's, if you want me, even though you've said between 30 and 45, if I knock on your door and I send some photographs that kind of highlight the kind of area, the kind of thing you're looking for, and then maybe eventually we exchange mail or maybe even converse, you've forgotten the age limit that you'd stuck. Because why? Because I'm versatile and I can fit into a range of roles. I'm 63 and I'm still, 30 is pushing it probably a little bit now, but I'm still applying for 40-year-old jobs.
Yeah.
And I get them.
Yeah.
You know, and I can deliver. So, I mean, I have the body of 40-year-olds, in fact, most 60-year-olds, but, you know, there you go.
That's great. What we're going to do is we're just going to play a very quick snippet of Skeleton. So this is a clip from the film Skeletons, and we'll put links in there afterwards. So just check out Dennis and myself in action. Check this out.
You've made me and your mother feel like we failed. We've done the absolute best for you. We've sacrificed. Boy, have we sacrificed. We've moved to the nicest area we could afford. We've put you in the best schools. We've kept you away from the bad people. People, I can hear them now. People used to say to us, used to say to me, Lawrence, you won't ever think that you and your kids are so much better than everyone else. I say, no, we don't. We just want the best for our children. I want the best for my son. I want the best for my daughter. That's all I ever want. We didn't want you to end up in prison. We didn't want you to end up on drugs. We did the best we could. And look what you're doing. Look what you're doing to us.
So yeah, that is a clip from Skeletons. For those of you watching, you can find, we'll put a link to this underneath the video for everyone listening to the audio podcast. If you go to youtube.com/Real Street Films, you can find the film there. I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed that experience of making Skeletons with you.
I enjoy the whole thing. I enjoyed someone knocking on my door and say, we like the look of you and we think you know, it's great when people come after you and ask the question.
Yeah.
That says that a number of reasons you're doing something right.
Yeah.
So you've either seen a look or heard a voice or seen a role, a performance and bought into it. And so, I'm doing, even though I'm not into this social media thing, something's working.
Yeah.
So it was good. And the crew, the cast were great.
Yeah. It was a nice bunch of people. It was a nice atmosphere. I think the idea of working on a film set, there's always this perception of it's going to be stressful and the director's going to be an idiot and he's going to be horrible and, it's going to be high drama, behind the scenes. I just think it's just great if you can create a nice working environment because then people will want to work with you again, hopefully. I'd love to touch on how you go about finding work, how you find acting work. I think you said that some work seems to come naturally to you.
Yeah.
But, for those of us out there who know nothing about the world of acting as an industry, being an actor, how do you find work? How does work come around for you?
How do I get it?
Yeah.
Okay. I get it by knocking on doors, metaphorically speaking. My biggest platform and biggest route to inquiries or people noticing me is the platform called Star Now, which was mentioned a few times. I hope Star Now are going to send me a check for all these mentions.
They should do, yeah. Sponsored by Star Now,
Hey,
yeah.
I've been on there a number of years. I don't know how many years. And it works. It works. But you also have to work it. Sometimes co-members of said platform send me posts asking me, oh, but they've just joined or they've been on for a while. You really, I'd love to be as successful as you. And I always think, wow. And then I sometimes, depending on the mood I'm in, I'm saying, come on, it's smoke and mirrors, So I get a lot of work from there, but I don't sit back and wait for people to call me.
Yeah.
I apply for stuff. I apply for stuff that's left field.
Yeah.
I apply for stuff that I've never done before. You have to try different things. And one of the things I say to people when they're asking me for advice about getting work and experience, probably the important part in what I'm about to say is, we want to earn money for what we do, for our talents. But every so often, you need to earn experience or grow your experience. And, half a day or even a day out of your life, if it adds value to your performance and your ability, and then do it for free.
Yeah.
Do it for free. Build up your portfolio. Build up your experiences. Build up your show reel. Meet people. Network.
Yeah.
It's not always about the money.
Yeah.
And so, I apply for stuff and I'm not going to work every day for nothing.
Yeah.
I get some very lucrative roles. And it's interesting, from that said platform, I'll get anything. I'm doing more modeling work. Never thought, and I'm almost embarrassed to use the word in relation to me.
Yeah.
But hey, in the last 12 months, I've done more modeling work of one type or another than any other.
Fantastic.
Why that is? Who knows? People are looking for a certain look.
Yeah.
And I must have that look.
Yeah.
So long may that continue. And anything I like the look of, I'm going for. Sometimes I look and I think, I like the look of that, but I live in Manchester. It's in London.
Yeah.
But, they're going to pay me £1,000 for, so, hey, I'm going to apply for it. So I apply for a lot of stuff. And the catalyst behind what I apply for is determined by one role, one location, and fee.
Yeah.
All of those. Because I have other commitments, I have to, I have to throw a lot of mud and see what sticks and then kind of manage my life away from that.
Yeah.
But, I fill in the form and I send it off and I wait. And it's interesting, Marcus, because sometimes you send something and you think, oh, that's not heard from those guys. Then all of a sudden, an email saying, we like the look of this. Can you do us a self-tape? Can you do this?
Yeah.
So, I don't know how many applications during the course of a week or a month I send, but there are lots.
Yeah.
There are lots.
And I think you've got to have a real spine about you, because there's a large amount of rejection, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
As well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The nice rejections, if you can have such a thing, are where they come back to you and said, I'm sorry, but we've decided to go in another direction. That's great. But when they just disappear into the ether and you hear nothing. But that's one of the things I say to people who ask me for advice. I say, be good at taking no's, be good at taking rejection, and just move on. Just roll with it, as the guys say. And I can do that, what is it? If it's meant for you, it won't go by you.
Fantastic. Yeah. So it's a good way to live.
Yeah.
I mean, also, in the creative sector, being an actor, being a presenter, being a model, based on our discussions, a lot of opportunities pop up where you have to be flexible. It's like, right, well, can you come to London?
Yeah.
On Friday or tomorrow, what is it like living like that? Because a lot of people would call that living on the edge. People who have their strict 9 to 5s and we work a set amount of hours per week, for you to be living in Manchester and then you could end up in Newcastle one day or London one day. What does life look like for you? How does that feel? How have you found life living like that?
That could very easily be me. That could very easily be me. And I'd probably like it to a degree. It isn't me. It can't be me, because I care for my mother, as you know. And so really, as much as I work Star Now and other vehicles to get work, I have to pick and choose as to what I can follow through on. Or, sometimes I've sent an application off and I'm thinking, what can I do with mum?
Yeah.
Should I get it? And sometimes I'm helped out by the fact that I don't get it.
Yeah.
But it's, the living on the edge thing, in a way, I guess I am doing, but yeah, I'm not that person that can drop everything and be in London and be in Newcastle and Nottingham.
Yeah.
And the amount of roles, there's one particular agent, they're always posting some really lucrative, from a monetary point of view, well-paid gigs. But guess what? First of all, you have to travel to London for an audition. I've done it once because I really wanted the gig. And then, one, you might not get the gig. And then two, you have to fly off to Sofia or Bulgaria or wherever. Because a lot of the shoots are overseas.
Yeah.
So, in a way, they're not for me.
Yeah.
Not at this moment in my life.
Have you had much experience of working in some of those places like Bulgaria?
To date, I haven't done anything overseas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing yet. But hey, watch this space. I always say that, if the Almighty, whoever he or she may be to you, or what they might mean to you, if they give me good health and good life, who knows what's down the road?
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I know you've talked about acting and presenting and modelling. I think when I think about you, from my perspective, I think about you as an actor. So the question that I might ask is, why acting and not another career? Why have you chosen this creative career as opposed to doing something that seems a little bit more safe?
That's such a big question, I think probably because at school I was essentially a dunce. It's going back a little bit and a little bit odd way of answering your question, but at school I was a dunce, but I was always a trier.
Yeah.
I was always more creative. I was useless at metalwork, useless at woodwork, useless at tech drawing. There was more eraser rubber or rubber waste on my paper than anything else. I was useless at mathematics, all those things. But there were some areas that I just excelled in, even from back then. I could write something that rhymed. I could write something that was different to the guy next door. I could use words and stuff. And all that's happened from being who I was at school, it's kind of evolved into my work life.
Yeah.
When I left school, I've done clean jobs. I've worked for the DHS bit, and I've worked for people with papers and pens. And I guess when things changed was when I had a job at a photographic studio for about 5 or 6 years as an assistant in Manchester. And then the creativeness, the fact that I could iron a valance, the fact that I knew how to compose a shot photographically, the fact that I knew that all the tricks and everything, it was just somewhere in there was a creative yearning that needed to be fed, if that phrase makes any kind of sense.
Yeah.
And so, I have lots of aspiration and ambition, but unfortunately my grey matter doesn't necessarily want to facilitate that. And so I had to go with things that I could do. I can point a camera and take a decent picture, even a phone for that matter.
Yeah.
I just have a creative eye for lots of stuff and ear. The idea of leaving school and sitting with a suit and tie and working in an office probably did happen for a while because I've been involved in media and I sold media of one type or another, audio, video, whatever, print, and traveling around with suit and ties and knocking on people's doors and so on and so forth. But nothing except, it's funny actually, because when I was doing a proper job back in the day, I used to sneak off.
Yeah.
I used to sneak off, proper well-paid job, but something was calling me and I used to spend time in Childwall, the Brookside set, doing work on Brookside.
Yeah.
My biggest gig for what I call supporting artist, I was actually the jury foreman in one of the big storylines that they had there. And at that time, I thought I'd made it. It wasn't to be, but it was a start and it was always there. I was always dipping in and out of this industry.
Yeah.
And then the sales media thing in conjunction with another kind of job, green screen. I started to sell green screen technique, which you are familiar with. Some of your listeners might be as well. And so there was an opportunity to do green screen and present and sell the product as well as And so it all came together, and then, and everything just kind of, is the pebble effect.
Yeah.
You never know who you're going to meet and what opportunities. I started to do radio.
Yeah.
The radio show, I did a Smoother Mix. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the gig. I'm Dennis Gerald, and you're listening to a Smoother Mix. I did that for about 13 years, Marcus.
Yeah.
2 till 4 on Saturdays on a local radio station in Winchester. Loved it. Best time of the week for me. Never forget work. Interview opportunities. It made me. It brought into the studio, or as a result of that platform, I was introduced to lots of personalities, lots of characters. You know, it gave you the ability to write a script, write a story. And actually write a program to script, as you can imagine, a 2-hour magazine program that was fresh and vibrant every week. On today's program, we have, and so on and so forth. So, from everything to poetry to comedy, to live guest, I ripped off Radio 4's. Anyone listening to this? I ripped off Radio 4's Desert Island Disc, and people like the late Tony Wilson, a couple of Lord Mayors of Manchester, some footballers, athletes came in and sat, and it was great conversation because I tried to keep it real and keep it down to earth. So when I was interviewing people, what I tried to do is not ask the same old question that were going to be asked or been asked. I tried to change things around, and I had some really interesting guests. And from there, it gave me lots of opportunities otherwhere. And it's the pebble effect, really.
That's
the media
great. Yeah, fantastic.
Life. Interesting.
I want to go back to inspirations because I'm interested to find out about, in your field of work, who are the inspirations for you? But then you may have inspirations in your field of work, and they might not be related to your field of work. So when I think about your field of work, I think about acting, I think about presenting. Could you share some of your inspirations or people that you look up to, or people that you think I love their body of work?
Yeah, there's a whole heap of people that inspire me, and that I would love to have been the man that played Martin Luther King Jr. I would love to have been in that role.
Is it in the film Selma?
Yeah.
David Oyelowo?
Yes.
Let's say his name,
Yeah. I'm terrible at reading books, but I've started Martin Luther King's autobiography and Malcolm X's. I've started them, but I've not finished them. Yeah. But I'd love to play them. I'd love to play them, which probably Denzel Washington is one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you look at somebody, you think, wouldn't want to be him, but I'd like the adoration that he has and gets.
Yeah.
And I'd love to have his talent, his ability to be so many different people convincingly. That's the true mark of an actor.
Yeah, I think like sometimes with the Denzel Washington film, like I love Denzel Washington. Is he such a star that you go and you feel like you're watching Denzel as opposed to him embody a character?
Maybe I'm biased and probably not the best person to ask that question.
I think he's a brilliant actor. I love his work, and I could watch Denzel read the news.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yes,
because
exactly
it's and it's because he's got a 40-year body of work. Because I think some of his first ones were sort of early 80s. So you know, you're thinking almost 50 years of amazing films. Denzel could be in anything, and it could act anything. You know, one of the last things I watched Denzel, and I watched Fences. I don't know if you saw that film.
Yeah, and quite recently, actually.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else I saw him in recently. He was in an Equalizer film, so not, you know, Oscar-worthy performances, but it's Denzel, and he's cool, and he's going around, you know, doing the action star thing, and it did that well as well. But I feel like you're watching Denzel.
But he's got the ability to make a nonsense script and story acceptable.
Yeah.
And he's Denzel, as you say. We can forgive him for that.
Yeah.
But some of the guys we're talking about Denzel for a moment that kind of inspire me. Samuel L.
Yeah.
I just love his cool.
Yeah.
You know. Here's a story about Samuel L. One time when I got into this, in fact, I was selling media.
Yeah.
And I got a call from an agent that I was with asking me to go to Liverpool to audition because we're doing whatever the street is in the big film in Liverpool with Samuel L. Jackson.
The 51st State.
Something. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, 51st State.
They were doing that. So they wanted me to go along and audition for a stand-in
Okay.
A stand-in. So I thought, So I guess that they must have looked at my face and eyes and thought, okay, so we'll send him along. What do they care? They're going to get money if I'm chosen.
Yeah.
The fact that he's 20 foot tall and got a 60 chest and so on. I went into this room, this audition room, this photographer's in Liverpool, to be surrounded. I'm looking around at the people around me. I said, somebody's got this wrong. These great big monsters of men auditioning for this role. Ridiculous. And shoe size.
Yeah.
So ridiculous. But yeah, Morgan Freeman and all of these guys, I look up to them. I could watch I'm jumping around a little bit, Marcus.
That's fine.
Shawshank Redemption for forever.
Yeah.
I must have seen it 3 or 4 times already. And it's every time you see something else. That's the thing with watching movies. You see something different. What a story. Great story. Just love those guys. I'm inspired. Those are a handful of people that inspire me. And if I could be anywhere near as good as those guys, then I'd be quite happy. But, maybe I should just aim for being a good Dennis Gerald at whatever I do.
Yeah.
With those guys in mind, but,
Yeah, fantastic.
Not totally ruling who I am.
Do you have a favourite movie then? Favourite film?
No. I think lots of movies at lots of different times will have a significant impact on me when I'm watching them.
Okay.
The Django, most recently, I have to say, mentioned this to you recently for one reason or another. Black Panther was probably one of the, don't get the opportunity to go to movies that often, but Black Panther on many levels was very potent.
Yeah.
I'm not vociferous when in public necessarily, but I'm bawling out. I'm encouraging people in the fights in the cinema. And when this was on, it was a realization. It was a feel-good moment on many levels without getting too deep. Black Panther was amazing.
It was great. I love Black Panther. Yeah. I watched it twice. And
Django and stuff. At the time, I can feel the movie. I can't think of. My brain won't allow me to recollect them all and bring them to you now. But when a movie's on, and this could be a late night movie on Channel 5 or 4 or whatever, and you sit and you think, wow. I tell you what, you might touch on this later on. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a softie, but I can quite easily sit at home. I have to be careful not to watch too many things in other people's company because I can quite easily cry at stuff that I'm watching and emotions that I'm seeing on the screen. And that's probably not a good thing. Not a good thing.
It's great for acting though, and being able to use that emotion in your work.
It is.
If you can draw on a personal feeling, or even being able to recall another film that made you feel a certain way.
Yeah. I don't necessarily want to be hurt or affected by stuff that I'm watching necessarily.
Yeah.
Which some films and pictures have that ability to do. But in terms of my performance, I draw on life's experiences to bring a performance to life or a character to life. We talked about the Solace of a Tears thing that I did, which was a piece to as part of a music video for a Manchester band. Yeah. And all that was about was just reflecting on possibly even my days, the hours leading up to the shoot. Certainly the weeks and days and months before in my life of recent times. And you just get into a zone and you just close your eyes and you're in a different place, or you're trying to keep your cool and you're trying not to curse and swear. And all of those things come together and you just...
Yeah.
It just grows.
Do you think acting provides a level of escapism?
Yeah.
So you escape from the real world for a short time and you just play someone else?
Yeah. Acting and indeed any of the work that I do, Marcus... Yeah, any of the work that I do, which is one of the things. I talked about extras earlier on. I didn't class myself as an extra. I was always a supporting artist because I had to bring credibility. Nothing worse than watching something on TV. And when I watch TV, I'm almost like doing the job that you do as a director, I'm not just watching the people that are talking. I'm looking around at the set, the lighting. I'm seeing whether there are boom arms, and so on and so forth. And I'm looking at what the supporting artist, so-called. Okay, so I'm watching one of the local soaps. So let's say I'm watching Coronation Street, and I'm looking at the guys at the table in the background, and I can see the extras differently to the supporting artists.
Yeah.
The supporting artists are doing things that you wouldn't expect extras to do.
Yeah.
And extras are doing things that you expect and extras do.
Such as?
Such as being extras. Such as, it's difficult now I've said that to actually bring it to life. But there's just, we are just, our ability as human beings are just so, we have so much ability and variability in us to be doing the same things just because you've been given a glass of Caliber to drink. Do something different with it.
Yeah.
Do something different with it. And, you know, okay, you can't look at the camera, but be creative. Be creative. You've got somebody to interact with. Interact with them. If they're your wife, maybe give them a cuddle. They're not giving you direction. They're just saying action and leaving it to you. If you go over the top, they'll tell you. But don't just be a piece of wood or wallpaper, as I call it.
Yeah.
If you're going to get into the business, then people are going to notice you if you do something that's a little bit different.
Yeah. Great stuff.
Don't be an extra, be a supporting artist.
I love that. It's like a little promo. You should say it looking into that camera. Can you say that again? Don't be an extra.
Don't be an extra. Be a supporting artist. That's the way to go. That's the way to rise.
Moving. That was moving. That performance was moving there. We're just going to play a little game that I play with everyone who comes on this podcast. The game is called This or That. It's my version of Would You Rather. I give you two options. Mm-hmm. Two options of things that you have to choose. You have to pick one or the other. You can't say none of those work for me. So you may be put on the spot a little bit, but it's family friendly. It's fun. It's all good. Here we go.
Okay.
This or that. First one. Dennis Gerald. Elvis Presley or Elvis Costello?
Elvis Costello every time.
Why?
Elvis Costello, to me, some people would say that Elvis Presley is an original. Elvis Costello, to me, was cool. He was my kind of cool. Elvis, they're both cool. Elvis Costello was my kind of cool.
Fantastic. Next one. Season tickets. This is a difficult one. This is a football one. Season ticket, and you have to go to every game at Manchester United or Liverpool FC?
Manchester United.
Why?
Because I lived in Manchester for the great majority of my life. I like a lot of past Manchester. I just love some of the people who passed through Manchester United as players and managers. And a lot of people say, hey, Den, you're a Manc. I wouldn't argue with that.
Fair enough. That's good. Okay. Next question. Denzel Washington or Morgan Freeman?
That's a toughie.
It's a toughie, but you have to choose one.
Most people watching this are probably expect me to go down the Denzel route. I'm going to go with Morgan.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Morgan. And you're going to ask me why? I'm just going to say that I like to be... I guess some people would say I'm a little bit awkward. So there's an awkward one for you. Morgan Freeman.
Okay, cool. I like Morgan Freeman too. A simpler one. Ice cream or custard?
I'm going with custard simply because it depends what the ice cream is. But as I have to go with one, I'll go with custard.
I can't stand custard, but fair enough. That's just me. But this is you. Next one. Visiting North America or visiting South America?
Does North America include Canada?
Yes.
North America.
North America. Okay, cool. Next one. The works of Steven Spielberg or the works of Sir Ridley Scott? Both film directors, by the way, for anyone listening who's not sure who those two people are.
I think that's an interesting one. I'm going with Ridley Scott on this one.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going with Ridley Scott because I think the man's ability and fame was probably... Is there a phrase? Hidden under a bushel or something? I think he was underrated. I don't think enough people know about him.
Yeah.
And the little bits of stuff that I've experienced of his work in recent years, I'm thinking, yeah, Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott, fantastic. Next one, working in radio or modelling?
Radio. Radio. Why? Before you ask, if you were going to ask, radio is just modeling. It's almost like being a wallpaper on Coronation Street. Yeah, some of us are okay at it. Some people pay us to do it because we know how to strike a pose. But in terms of affecting and influencing the voice, if this was just radio now, when I say this and people can hear this on the radio, they can hear the passion, I can influence, they can smile or they can break out and cry and then turn off. But the voice is just such a powerful tool. Good radio, as you probably will have heard before, Marcus, people say, good radio is equal, if not better, to a good visual, whether that's TV or film.
Fantastic. Love it. Watching a film at the cinema or watching a film at home?
I think the cinema. It's because for me it's a bit of a treat, really. Yeah, the cinema.
Nice and easy. Next one, Judi Dench, Dame Judi Dench, or Helen Mirren?
Dame Judi Dench. Why? Because in my mind's eye, I'm seeing this woman with such a body of work and historical body of work, and I'm not certain, but I think that she's probably maybe 10, 15, 20 years senior to...
I'd guess so, yeah. At least 10 years.
Yeah. Hey, Helen Mirren is awesome, but yeah, Dame,
yeah, okay. So, last one, Dennis, Brookside or Coronation Street?
Brookside, yeah. So you asked about the Manchester United Liverpool before, and I went for Manchester United. In this case, the stuff, the storylines, the grit, and there's just, this Coronation Street is just too close to home.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
I kind of from the experience, because you also you were on Brookside as well.
Yeah, I've been on both. Yeah. Doing different things. Brookside.
Brookside wins.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That is this or that. I will breathe out. That is it. We're going to draw things to a close, so thanks for doing that. Again, because this is about inspiring other people, I think, I speak to different people who do lots of different, I would say jobs, but they do lots of different things. And again, I'm approaching you from the world of acting, from the creative sector. If you could pass on some advice to someone who, just some life advice, what sort of advice would you pass on, thinking about the world of work, thinking about the things that we do? If you could pass on some advice to someone 20 years younger than you about living, working, getting the best out of your own life, what kind of advice would you try and pass on? It's a very big question that
it's a big question,
I've asked you.
And I will answer it in this way. Be courteous and show good manners to everyone. Courtesy goes a long way. A thank you and a please. What does it cost you? Yeah, good manners, courtesy. Outside of this industry, just in your life. I think those are two words. Be courteous, show good manners. And, that phrase, this is if I have a mantra, this is one of my life's mantras, you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
And if you mash somebody else's corn, somebody else is going to mash yours. You reap what you sow. Just bear that in mind. And what you reap ain't always going to come from the direction that you think it's going to come from. Yeah. I don't know. I probably started to waffle a bit, trying to be too deep. But you reap what you sow.
That's fine.
Good manners and courtesy. I think you could do a lot worse than trying to embrace those.
Fantastic. Dennis, just finally, if anyone wants to find out more about you, can you share any links, any websites or anything?
Yeah, check out my website, and there's an email address on there. Web address is dennisgerald.co.uk. It's a great website, put together by somebody who shall remain nameless.
Okay. We won't name that person.
No, my website's awesome, and it's just starting to work for me. I asked Marcus, who produced the website, how do I know it's working? What does it do? But yeah, it's starting to work. And I'm not the best at actually making it work. So it's even without me doing anything, it's working. So check out the website and check out Marcus.
Oh, thank
Real
you.
Street.
DennisGerald.co.uk. Dennis, it has been an absolute pleasure having you join me. Thanks for coming all this way. Thanks for hanging out. It'd be great to have you back again at some point in the near future. Just tell us about projects, tell us about life, tell us about your week, tell us about how things are in life. But and this table is too big for us to reach across and shake hands.
Thank you, Marcus. I've enjoyed it. It's quite weird, actually, because I did the radio show where I was asking the question, I was interviewing. I felt quite vulnerable.
Yeah.
But and tongue-tied even, because when I'm in your shoes, you just can't be tongue-tied. Or if you can get away with it. But, when somebody's waiting for you, and vulnerable. But enjoyed it. It's been a blast. Thank you.
It's been a blast. Thank you. Thanks, Dennis.
Cheers.
Take care.
Okay.
Well, you've made it this far, you've stuck it out to the very end, so thank you for watching this episode of So This Works. If you've enjoyed this video, please like it, please leave a comment, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, please tell a friend about it, please share this video, and also hit that notification bell so that you're notified as soon as a new video has been released. If you'd like more information about this podcast, please check out the website sothisworks.co.uk. I hope that you will join me for a future episode, and until next time, take care of yourselves.